Wow, didn't mean to do that. Hey, what's going on? This is another episode or another video of the Bite Down Boxing uh, podcast, bitedownboxing.com. I'm still working on some things over there, so everything is kind of choppy right now, what's going on. But anyway, you know what it is tonight. The big fight. Anthony Joshua moves to 22-0, 21 knockouts, stops Alexander, a very game, very determined 39-year-old, but just a very game Alexander Povetkin. Stopped him in the seventh round. I believe it was 59 seconds left in that round. I actually had AJ up by a point, maybe going in at the end of six. I think I had one round in there where I scored it 10-10, maybe that fourth round. It was another similar to the Canelo and Triple G fight. Here it is again where we have a huge discrepancy in jabs. And if you go by the punch stat information that was provided in the broadcast on DAZN, you can see that, Anthony was buying himself some time. He was working on some timing, looking at a way to offset, the erratic style of Povetkin and, trying to stay safe and not make any mistakes until he wore his man down and saw the openings that he was looking for. Phenomenal fight. Great heavyweight fight. It's funny, a lot of us, myself, I speak for myself, I've gotten down on AJ. The handling of the Deontay Wilder fight. It's only so much that a man can call you out, that another champion can call out. A heavyweight world champion. We usually nickname or assume these guys are the baddest men on the planet, the baddest man on the planet. And, it's just kind of uncanny that we would sit around and see him allow himself to his name to be sullied the way that it has with some of the jabs that Deontay Wilder has taken. So look, just looking at the rounds, going through some notes very quickly, one thing that I saw immediately with Joshua making his way out to the ring was the hair. And not coming in with the fresh cut or anything kind of signified, I'm here for business tonight. I'm here to work. I'm not in here trying to look pretty and all of that type of stuff. I'm coming to fight tonight. And it's kind of similar to, for those of us that are hip-hop fans and are fans of Jay-Z, we understand, we've learned that reportedly when he's in album mode, when he's working on an album, putting it together, he doesn't get his hair cut. And, when we see him at different places as he's working on that project and we start seeing him at different events, that's the speculation that an album is in the works if he doesn't have, a cleaner haircut and everything. So watching Anthony make his way through the crowd, that was one thing that caught my eye very early, that he's here for business tonight. He's in here. He's not going to be about the finesse boxing that we heard with the defense or the unification bout with Joseph Parker. So, he was hurt in the first. He was buckled, bloody nose, very early in the fight, first, second round. Povetkin was able to close out the first round with that 3-punch flurry. But what I noticed was AJ was coming out. He was bending down. He was trying to stay close. He was trying to press forward, trying to take the fight to Povetkin, which was a good sign that, like I said, that we weren't going to see that, the finesse boxing. We were really going to see some heavyweight fighting tonight. And I said on the podcast last week on the Bite Down Boxing podcast that I thought Povetkin was going to shoot his shot, and that's what he did continuously. He's a very impatient guy, very motivated, and it seemed like the smart money would be to go for it early before Joshua got a chance to get into any kind of rhythm or anything and, explode on him and catch him early. So that's what he was doing with the loopy punches, kind of using AJ's height against him. But one thing that I noticed in this fight, I don't think we saw it that much in the Parker fight, was AJ looking to score, looking to touch it's odd seeing a heavyweight jab to the body the way that he was, the Floyd Mayweather Andre Ward, jabbing to the body and whatnot. But it was good to see AJ thinking offensively. He came out, after the big flurry from Povetkin in the first, came out in the second, and Povetkin was looking to time his shots, his feints, and to take those shots, to shoot his shots, those looping, punches to get around the guard and through AJ's guard. One thing that I noticed moving into the third round was that AJ got comfortable, started leaving that left hand down, not wasting energy trying to cover that up, but then kept that right hand right underneath his chin, and then also keeping it up here, on the side of his face, because he knew that left hook was coming from Povetkin, lunging in with that left hook and trying to catch him that way. So we saw him make some good adjustments. He was also staying like half a step ahead of Povetkin as he was pressing forward. He was standing back, or taking those steps back, trying to maintain that range, trying to make sure that he was able to see everything that was coming to him. And that's kind of where he was getting into the dangerous water at times, or, when he was go to mix it up in that first round when he was standing very close to him. You didn't want to see something coming from the side, and get hit with something that you didn't see. So that was Povetkin's whole plan. And throwing some of the double left hand or double hook or hook uppercut, we usually don't see that type of stuff. So Povetkin was just, staying very, very erratic, but, planned erratic, just not erratic to be erratic. So the fourth, we had the cut above the left eye of Povetkin. Then from the fourth, fifth, and the sixth, kind of back and forth. I mean, were you taking Povetkin's skirmishes, his explosive, his bursts of offense, or were you into AJ? Another thing that AJ did was he started using that stiff arm a little bit in those rounds, maybe third through sixth. He started using that stiff arm a little bit, the left, to deter Povetkin jumping in on him a little bit. And that was kind of getting Povetkin off of, messing up his balance and his leverage and whatnot. So that was also another way of taking away being surprised by anything. Then obviously in the round 6, he had the short right hook. AJ landed that short right hook that was one of his better punches to that point. And then getting into that 7th round where that right cross that had Povetkin in trouble, that was one of the first times where Povetkin, kind of in him jumping around and lunging in and whatnot, that was one of the first times that he kind of got off balance a little bit, and one of the first times that AJ lined up to get that right hand up on that, to get that right hand lined up to get that particular angle to hit him on that left side of his face and have him hurt. And then from there, it was the first knockdown after left hook, another straight right hand that put him down. I was very surprised that Povetkin got up. He's giving up a lot of size, 20-something pounds to AJ. I don't think they mentioned anything about a second weigh-in or anything, because it is the heavyweights. So who knows what it was, the discrepancy was in the weight tonight. But somehow he gets up after almost falling through the ropes. Like I said, giving up that much size, that much weight, being hit with that type of power. Very shocking that he was able to continue, but he didn't last that long. AJ immediately moved in and looked to get rid of him and not let him recover. Very smart thing to do. And that was kind of the common thoughts, from what I was hearing amongst some of the people that I listened to. Some of the major boxing personalities was 7th through 9th. I think, and even AJ might have called out the 8th round himself earlier in press or in fight week and whatnot. So again, phenomenal fight. He moves to 22-0, retains his WBA, WBO, IBF title. Couple things about DAZN. We all had our druthers about there being a new service to get. I watched it on my smart TV. The app on there had no problems. I did download the app on my phone. Never had to use it. The feed stayed pretty good. It was a couple times when they do the wider shots and it's a lot of stuff going on. It seems like the signal gets a little bad and things get pixelated or distorted and whatnot. But that didn't happen a whole lot. You know, UK phenomenal scene again with them singing Sweet Caroline. The one thing that I think DAZN needs to work on and probably will look to address but it was opening night. You know, it was opening night. I thought Chris Mannix was a plus. Brian Kelly, pretty solid. Sergio, pretty solid. But I think Sugar Ray Leonard, the great Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, he has to understand you got to bring it. And it just seemed like some of the earlier fights, maybe in the Luke Campbell and Yvonne Mendy fight, I didn't even know he was on the panel. He was quiet for such a long stretch. He basically is repeating, maybe changing up the order a little bit of what the other two guys are saying. But, you know, that's him traveling overseas and whatnot. He's an older guy. He's been on the bench a minute as far as, you know, doing any kind of commentating and whatnot. So maybe they just need to wake him up a little bit, let him run the tape back and see what's going on. But it looked like he wasn't really a plus this outing. And in the interview, I'm very surprised. That's really not the role of the former fighters and whatnot and trainers. It's really not the best role for them to be doing the interviewing. But like I said, I think they'll make some adjustments. They'll make some improvements. Not much bad to say about DAZN. The next fight will be, well, I think we get that the Jacobs and Derevianchenko, or maybe it's the October 6th fight over in Chicago, Worlds Collide. But anyway, what else did I want to say before I get out of here? I was trying to keep this a little short. Looking forward to April 13th with them having Wembley reserved already. With the fight already, if you look on BoxRec, is already on Anthony Joshua's schedule. He's scheduled to fight that day. I think this puts a lot of pressure on Wilder. This is why I think Fury, regardless of how well you might think he moves, the size and that he can move at that size, with him being a little bit further along in his comeback and all that, I just think he's up against it because Wilder knows he needs an explosive knockout, a destructive knockout. That's the only way that he can get more leverage for Eddie Hearn not to approach him in a with something disrespectful to make this. It probably should be 50-50. 55-45, 60-40 or whatever. I don't know, but I think Fury's going to be up against it because Wilder will look to be explosive and destructive that night, and Fury could get hurt if he's not on his game. So last to close out of this, it was interesting. You know, I got down on Joshua for allowing some of this stuff to go on without us seeing that he was pressing Hearn to get this fight done. You see, he still kind of danced around it early on when he was talking to the Skybox or the Sky Sports box office guy that was interviewing him, talking about we're going to put a poll out here and whatnot. And then there were some follow-up questions, and we eventually got around to know Wilder is the number one option. Let's not even get into number 2 and number 3. Don't worry about that. So it was good to hear Joshua acknowledge that fight, say that he wants it, accept that challenge publicly. So we needed to hear that. It still wasn't much trash talking, but that's not what he's about. That's not how he's going to conduct himself. That's not how he's going to go about handling business. I do respect the fact how he talks about his business, how he talks about what he wants to do. He keeps it very business-like. He was very aware of what they're doing with DAZN, his importance to the overall success of DAZN, especially now with him being the biggest fish over there, the face of it, the Matchroom and DAZN partnership and whatnot. So it's great to see a young man, a young fighter, aware of his power and influence and his importance in the big scheme of things. So as long as, we take a look at what happens December 1st, that fight has now been announced. The press tour is starting, I believe, this week or very soon. So that's official now. He is keeping an eye out on the outcome of that. I heard enough of, he wasn't about getting face-to-face in the ring and having that confrontation and whatnot. And we didn't need that anymore now that the Fury fight has materialized. But it's great, man. I mean, I haven't been this excited about the heavyweight division in years. But it's popping right now. Shout out or salute to Povetkin on making it very interesting. That's one of the beautiful things about these UK fights is what, 7:30 or something, a little after 7. And now I can go run around and do what I want to do, with the rest of my Saturday night or check back in with college football. So that's a beautiful thing. Like I said, it looks like we will get this fight that we want. We just kind of need to see how things play out December the 1st. I want to send a quick shout out to my dudes, Elmatic, Artesian L's, some of my partners here in the Dayton, Ohio area. A couple of guys starting out their own craft beer, microbrewery, whatever the proper term is. But they've been working on this for several years now, and it's finally coming to fruition. So I had to cop me a tea and, kind of represent for the guys. It's great to see that coming together. And I'm looking forward. I haven't even tasted any yet, but I'm dying to do so. Can't wait to make it over. We're probably going to do some boxing over there. Me and one of the creators of it used to take a boxing fitness class or attend a boxing fitness class together. He's even fought in the fundraiser knockout 3-round fight thing that they do. So shout out to Elmatic Artesian L's. And obviously, if you're a hip-hop dude, you know what Elmatic is kind of a playoff of. So salute to them on coming up with something dope. And, hey, I'm going to get on out of here. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm looking for subs. I'm desperate right now. I need to get to this 1,000. I don't care if you do that notification thing every time I go live. I'm sure, I'm not one of the big dogs. But, let's talk about it down in the comment section if you have any thoughts. Holla at me on Twitter at _E_pluribus PLURIBUS _Wood WOOD or at Bite Down Boxing. Check us out on Instagram at Bite Down Boxing or myself at Waterbed _Reg REG. Hey, y'all have a great rest of the weekend. I'm out. Peace.